Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to talk about some fragrances from the house of Thierry Mugler from their Les Exceptions collection. This is an exclusive collection and it's not found everywhere, only in bigger Thierry Mugler boutiques. So I was lucky enough to find a sample pack for me to try, and I did give all of these fragrances a full wearing. Now there are only 5 of these. I know that they've come out with more since making this pack, so I will be doing a review on these ones in particular. The first one I'll talk about is the Chyprissime. Okay, the notes for this fragrance are bergamot, orange, oak moss, patchouli and pear. It opens up very mossy and very, very masculine. It has a sharp opening and it actually burnt my nose when I tried smelling it for the first time. So the feeling I get from this fragrance in the dry down in particular is that I'm walking in a botanical garden right after it's rained. So it's a watery, mossy, citrusy scent with some patchouli. Pear is listed as a note, but honestly I don't really detect it. There is a hint of fruity sweetness in the dry down coming from the orange, not the pear. It becomes a little creamy and salty in the dry down, but still very, very masculine. It's soft on the skin and doesn't project much, unfortunately, and does not have a good lasting power as well. It only lasted 3 whole hours on my skin, and that's quite disappointing for me. I don't really find that good enough for the price. I feel that this fragrance is unfinished. It seems a little flat and uninspiring, and it needs some oomph to it. I feel it's missing something, like a few notes. Maybe if they were to have put white florals in there, then I think it would have been a beautiful, a much more fuller kind of fragrance than what it is. So there's nothing spectacular here, just a nice watery mossy patchouli scent with some citruses. I think that this fragrance will bloom in the heat, and I really feel that it does need a little bit of heat or body heat, because I feel that it would bring off some more sweetness. It is nice to wear in colder months as well, but I feel that it does need the heat to actually show its true self. So I feel that it was kind of a letdown for me, and I will not be purchasing a full bottle of. The next one is Over the Musk. Now this one is your typical musky, slightly woody and slightly spicy scent. The notes are musk, muskmallow, black pepper and cashmere wood. The main note is a honeyed sweet musk. It also almost smells like orange peel and powder and cinnamon. It's very warm, very cozy, very comforting type of scent. It's one of those fragrances that you might have smelt on one of your older relatives as a child, or you've cuddled your grandparents or someone like that, and you've just smelt this musky kind of scent on them. This is the type of musk it is. So it's not your typical white sweet musk or your black musk. It's like an orange type of musk. If it had a color, I'd say it's like a burnt orange color. So it's your authentic type of musk. To me, as soon as I smelt it, I was like, yep, I know this scent. I remember this scent. I don't know where I remember it from, but I have smelt this scent on older people. So it's a very familiar type of fragrance. It's got this carroty, ambery, cashmerean feel to it. It smells silky, like how a perfumed silk scarf would smell. It doesn't change throughout the whole wear. From the time you spray it on until the time it fades, it smells of sweet honeyed musk. So it's very basic, but every time you move, it gives you this waft of just beautiful coziness. It doesn't really project much because it is a musk perfume after all, but I find that for what it is, it's really, really good, because every time you move, you smell it. It just, it just lingers on, and it's really, really good. So it has a moderate longevity. So I think after about 4 to 5 hours, it was kind of faded away, and you kind of had to, it became like a skin scent. But all in all, it's a beautiful, beautiful musk. If you're looking for a nice, cozy, warm, cuddly musk fragrance, then go for this one. It's really, really nice. Now the next one is Fougere Furieuse. The notes for this one are herbal notes, fern, neroli, geranium, amber, oak moss, and coumarin. This is a very light and delicate beauty. It has a watery freshness to it. It's also very earthy and sweet. You can definitely detect individual notes in the opening. It feels as if the notes were sprinkled on top of each other rather than mixed or combined. This fragrance makes me feel happy and alive. It just brings a smile to my face. It's one of those types of fragrances. It's very vibrant, fresh and young, but quite modern at the same time. I can imagine a beautiful, young, carefree woman with flowers in her hair wearing this fragrance while laying down on top of the hill, wearing her flowing floral dress, taking in the rays of the sun and the freshness of the air. It just evokes that kind of image for me. If you want an innocent, soft floral with watery greens and slight citruses, then this is for you. It is chic and luscious and has a nice crisp greenness to it that is very refreshing. To me, this fragrance smells like the passing winds in the meadows. It does warm up a little in the dry down, but it still contains that green crispiness and just blooms on the skin. It's so, so pretty. Again, there's nothing beastly about it. It's just a soft, moderate sillage with 4 to 5 hours of wear. But it's just so delicate and so, so pretty. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit on the feminine side, I would say, but I let my husband smell it and he absolutely loved it for himself. And that's odd because he usually likes the masculine scents. So that was a good thing. So if I ever find it, I will be getting a bottle of this one because I absolutely really, really loved it. And it's very hard for me to love a green type of scent or a citrusy scent, but I did enjoy this one quite a lot. And I don't mind that I have to respray every now and then. I did enjoy it that much. So I really loved that one. Now the next one is quite popular. I think it's the most popular one from the collection. It's the Oriental Express. I was very excited to try this one because I had heard so many things about it. I was a little bit let down, not by the scent, by the lasting power. It seems that this collection in particular has very poor lasting power and is on the softer side of things, and it's not what I'm used to from this house in particular, so that was a bit of a letdown for me, especially since they're so exclusive and all. Like, I don't know, I just thought that they would be a little bit more powerful, but they're not. Anyway, Oriental Express, the notes for this one are basil, sandalwood, vanilla and carrot seeds. This is a powder bomb. It's all about powder. It opens up very powdery with vanilla and iris. And although iris is not listed in the notes, but I smell iris, it doesn't change too much in the dry down. But once it starts to fade, then yes, it definitely does change into something. Oh, I'll tell you about it one at the end. It's a very familiar type of scent. Again, it smells like baby powder and makeup. So at one stage there was also a hint of this baby milk formula type of smell going on there as well, but that kind of fades away and you're left with just a baby powder makeup kind of, your makeup, your typical vintage makeup type of scent. So it has a waxy lipstick vibe going on with some sweet powdery retro face powder. To me, it smells like vintage face blush that has been scented with sweet synthetic type of vanilla, but in a good way. I'm not saying that the synthetic vanilla bit is bad. It's just, you know, that type of vanilla. It's not your authentic vanilla bean type of vanilla. It's fairly a safe scent, I would say, but only if you enjoy powdery fragrances. So if you do like powdery scents, then you'll definitely like this one. That's what I can say. It's not really complex or anything like that. It's just straight out powder and makeup type of scent. It does fade quickly though. It gives you a blast of its fluffy powdery goodness in the start, and then after an hour and a half, it becomes this woody, soft, very soft. It's kind of like a woody, soft skin scent. The powder, it just disappears, basically. I would have loved if the powder stayed to the end, but it really doesn't. And the dry down, when it starts to fade, I didn't like it at all. It just didn't really smell nice to me. So with this one, I do love the opening. I really love the opening, but don't like the dry down. And it's weird because it's supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to open up and then settle down into this beautiful powdery bomb, but it's not. It's the other way around. It opens up, powdery bomb, and then it settles down to non-existent, woody, kind of musky scent. So I didn't like that at all. And that was very disappointing for me because I was really wanting to love this one, and I was actually going to blind purchase this, and lucky I didn't, because I didn't really love it enough. Now the last one is Supra Floral. I've kept the best to last. This is exquisite. This fragrance is absolutely exquisite, and I didn't actually think that I would like it, but I do. I love it. The notes of this one are hyacinth, incense, and amber, but I kid you not, there's a whole heap of other notes going on that they haven't told us about. Okay, this one opens strongly with hyacinth. And hyacinth is a bluish purple flower that has a distinctive kind of smell. It smells like shrubs and has a green, watery quality to it. It's quite pungent and strong smelling, and usually overpowers any other notes in the fragrances. But not in this case, not in the case of this fragrance, which is quite unique. It's a little bit bitter, like if you broke off a fresh flower stem, you get that tangy bitterness. That's what hyacinth kind of smells like. So the opening of Supra Floral is completely different to the dry down. It's like two different fragrances. It goes through different stages. So the opening is basically strong hyacinth blended beautifully with sweet amber and just a delicate touch of incense. In the dry down, however, it becomes so very well blended that you can't pick up individual notes anymore. It feels like there are so many other different flowers and other notes going on, like succulent fruits and delicious vanilla. It smells very modern and young in the dry down. The hyacinth dies down and it's not the main character anymore in the dry down. I think they did an excellent job here in creating such a modern take on this flower, since most fragrances with the hyacinth smells very mature, and most of the time they smell similar to one another, but not in this case. This has a complete different approach. The dry down is absolutely delicious and addictive. To me, it smells like you've gotten a stalk of hyacinth, dipped it in sherbet, vanilla, and powder. I get a beautiful fruity, floral, and slightly gourmand fragrance. And it's absolutely sublime. It can be worn all year round, and only very light sprays needed in the heat, the hotter months, because I can imagine that it could become really sickly sweet if oversprayed in the heat. It stays a little close to the skin, but it does bloom in the dry down, with moderate lasting power again. It's one of the better ones from this entire collection. So it does sweeten up a lot more in the dry down, and it is a little bit more feminine than masculine, but I absolutely love it, and I am definitely going to be purchasing a bottle once I track it down. Now, a bottle of one of these retails for over $200 I believe, and as I said, they can only be purchased from particular boutiques, or I think from the airports. Some of the airports have them as well. So they're very hard to find. But yeah, that's all, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this review. And please let me know if you've tried these, or if you've, if you have a bottle. And let me know which ones your favorites are. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.